Honey, I'm coming out. What do you mean you're coming out? I'm coming out on YouTube. Coming out on YouTube? What does that mean? I'm coming out the closet. I'm uploading now. Sorry I had to blow up like that, but while I calm down, listen to this sweet exhaust note.
Boiler exhaust system.
Hello, YouTube community. This is the magazine cover that changed my dad's life and in turn changed my life forever for the worse. In my retro series, I want to take you, the viewers, on a journey into my past with sports cars I've purchased. This person right here, yes, my father, is the reason why I've had a 20-year and counting car fever. Thanks, Dad. Nah, just kidding, but I love it. Here's the story behind why I still can't stop buying cars. Back in April 1998, my dad brought home this beautiful black coupe Corvette. And yes, it's a 6-speed. With the Z51 package. So when I came outside to view the car, my dad, he stepped out the car jamming his old jams and on cloud 9, grinning from ear to ear. But what I didn't notice was that my mama was right behind me and she was hotter than fish grease. That's the first time I ever seen my mom really mad at what my dad has done. My dad, he was happy. Me, I was happy. The car was still on, and that sweet baritone exhaust note that those cars had was really something to hear at the time. So after that love-hate triangle died down, a few months later, my dad took me on a trip to a small town near us. He knew a guy there that had some Vipers, and he wanted me to see them. So I went to go see those Vipers because that was my first time seeing Vipers. And those Vipers were nice. They were 1996 and some 1998s. There was a 1998 GTS that he had never driven, and it was still covered up. The seats were covered up and everything. So my dad and I went back to his office, and his brother was there. He had a red Viper GTS. And after they got through talking about a couple of things, he asked my dad if he wanted to race. My dad said, sure, let's go race. So on our way to the race destination, I asked my dad, I was like, so do you think we can win this race? He was like, I don't know. That car has more power than me, but we'll see. I might be able to win. So once we got there and we turned our cars around, we took off. We didn't do it from a dead stop, probably about 20 miles an hour. And then my dad trumped it and he got out there. But around about 40 miles an hour, that Viper just started pulling. My dad shifted a second, and there was just nothing that he could do to catch up with that car. Because, you know, the Corvette go up to about 6,200 RPM red line before you can shift. And, you know, me, I was kind of in heaven when he was racing because I've never been inside while my dad was racing. And so I was just so excited. So, yes, my dad lost that race. So he asked, do you want to do it again? My dad was like, yeah, let's see what we can do. So I said, Dad, I think you can get him this time. He said, I don't know, but I'll try. So we lined up again, took off from 20 again, trumped it, ran it all the way up the red line shift. My dad was shifting fast, just keep up with him, but that Viper just kept on pulling. And then after that day, I think my dad kind of got a little fed up with the car. Not so much that he was mad that the car wasn't good, but it's just that he couldn't keep up with that Viper, and the technology that was in the Corvette at that time was well above what the Viper had. So to him, it was like, how in the world did this happen? So after all of that happened, my dad really didn't drive it too much, but he did let me drive it to band camp. Yes, I was in band, and so when I drove this car to band camp in August, hey, 15 years old, nothing wrong with it. Now, I didn't pull any ladies with this car, but I could have, but I didn't. But I just had fun with the car driving to school. I know a lot of people would tell my dad, if I had that car, I'd be burning tires all the time. And my dad just said, yep, that's why my son can drive these cars, because he wouldn't do something like that. Now, let me tell you a little something about the 98 Corvette and some of the issues that I had along the line when I had it. The very first one would be the window motors. Seems like those windows motors would go out all the time. We had to replace them at least 8 times. That's terrible. That's terrible for a car that you expect to be at a high level, especially costing over $40,000. And then there were the seats, the old seats. The seats were good. It's just that they would separate from the panel that controls the seats, the switches for the seats, and that would make your car look kind of ugly. When you think about it, when someone's looking at your car and your seat's separated from that panel. There was also an issue where the door locks would fail. It only happened a couple of times, but when you go to unlock it, it would just fail. They wouldn't unlock at all. Nothing. One of the worst things is when they came out with the passive lock on the remote controls. It was really good, but it was too good for its own good. The reason why I say that is because once you move away from the car, once you're out of the range about 20-30 feet, it would lock, which is good. Nothing wrong with that. But if your key fob was within that 20 or 30 feet, it would constantly lock and unlock, and that was very, very annoying. And sometimes the alarm would go off, which is crazy. So if you're looking at having one, make sure that passive lock is off on the key fob. That was between 97 and 99 is when they had that on the remote. They got rid of it in 2000. And the final and worst thing is that god-awful sapsucker lockout, the steering wheel lockout for the security system. That there is a killer. It's not if it'll happen, it's just when it will happen. And when it happened to me, I was supposed to go to a car show, to a car meet for some Corvettes. And after I washed it, it was midnight black because I washed it up real good, got into it to move it, and it locked up. So if you're looking at possibly buying one of a 98 or 97 to 99, those are just some of the issues you might want to look at. The seats did get better from 2000 up, but if you're looking for that kind of car, then those are some of the issues that I ran into while I had it. So that loss to the Viper was my dad's first loss. My dad had told me stories about him being Grand Nationals and other cars on the street, so I know that was devastating. So when I reached the age of 18 and got my first credit card, I went to work because I said to myself I'd never get beat by anybody in this car. So I put on a cold air intake. I also did the Hypertech. I put a chip and I put exhaust on the car because I knew once I started driving this car regularly, I wasn't going to get beat by anybody. I would like to thank everybody who came to view this video. I do have more stories about this car, but to me, that was my favorite story about the car. And if you could, just leave a comment down below to let me know what I could do better or fix. I do have more retro videos coming out about all the cars that I've owned, so just stay tuned.